Introduction: the currency of the digital age. Every time you click buy now, transfer money on your phone, or even simply log into a social media platform, you are engaging in a trade. The currency exchanged is not just the dollars and cents in your bank account, it is something far more personal, far more valuable, and often, far more vulnerable: your personal data. In the 21st century, data has become the lifeblood of the global economy, a new form of capital as valuable as oil or gold. This book operates on a fundamental premise: your personal information is the primary currency of digital transactions. Understanding its value, how it is collected, and how to protect it is the most critical financial literacy skill of our time. The value of your digital identity. Your digital identity is a mosaic, composed of thousands of data points. It includes the obvious, your name, email address, and credit card number, but it also encompasses the subtle, your location history, your device's unique fingerprint, your search queries, your likes and shares, and even the time you spend hovering over a product image. When aggregated, this data creates a shockingly accurate digital doppelganger, a profile that can predict your habits, your desires, your vulnerabilities, and your future actions. This profile has immense value, both to legitimate businesses seeking to serve you better and to malicious actors seeking to exploit you. Protecting this identity is no longer optional, it is essential for safe participation in modern life. What are digital transactions? Beyond just purchases, when we think of digital transactions, online shopping is the first thing that comes to mind, but the scope is vastly broader. A digital transaction is any interaction where data is exchanged to complete an activity or gain access to a service. This includes financial transactions, online purchases, mobile banking, stock trades, and peer-to-peer payments. Access transactions, logging into your email, social media accounts, or workplace VPN. Information transactions, filling out a web form for a newsletter, downloading a white paper, or using a government service portal. Communications, sending an email, messaging on a platform, or making a video call. The metadata from these interactions, who you talk to, when, and for how long, is a significant part of the transaction. In each case, you are providing data to facilitate the exchange. This book will provide the tools to navigate all these interactions safely. The pervasive data economy, how your information is the product. We often operate under the illusion that digital services are free. This is a dangerous misconception. If you are not paying for the product, you are the product. The free email service, search engine, or social network is funded by the immense value of the data it harvests from its users. This data is used to build sophisticated advertising profiles, train artificial intelligence algorithms, and is frequently sold to or shared with a vast and often opaque network of third-party data brokers. This economy operates largely in the background, invisible to the average user. One goal of the Cyclopedia is to pull back the curtain on these processes, making the invisible visible and the complex understandable. Purpose and structure of the Cyclopedia. This book is designed not to scare you away from the digital world, but to empower you within it. Our purpose is to be your comprehensive, practical guide, a true cyclopedia for taking control of your digital privacy. The book is structured to take you from foundational knowledge to actionable defense. Part I will build your core understanding of what personal data is and how it flows through the digital ecosystem. Part 2 will demystify the legal frameworks that govern your data, translating legalese into clear rights and actions. Part 3, the heart of the book, is a practical AZ guide. Here you will find step-by-step strategies, recommended tools, and clear instructions for securing your devices, your transactions, and your online presence. Part 4 will look ahead to the future challenges and technologies on the horizon, ensuring the knowledge you gain remains relevant. Our journey begins by recognizing that every click, every login, and every purchase is a negotiation. It's time to learn the rules of the game and ensure you are negotiating from a position of knowledge and strength. Let's begin. Part I, the foundation, understanding the landscape. Chapter 1, what is personal data? Before we can protect our personal data, we must first understand its vast and varied nature. Personal data is a broader and more complex category than most people realize. It extends far beyond your name and address, encompassing a digital portrait of who you are, what you do, and even what you might do next. This chapter breaks down this landscape, providing the essential vocabulary and concepts that form the bedrock of all privacy protection. Personally identifiable information, PII. The obvious and the obscure at its core. Personally identifiable information, PII, is any data that can be used on its own or with other information to identify, contact, or locate a single person. The obvious, direct identifiers. This is the information we traditionally think of as personal: full name, home address, email address, phone number, social security number, SSN, / national ID, passport number, driver's license number. The obscure, indirect identifiers. This is where the definition expands on their own. These data points may not identify you, but when combined, they can create a unique fingerprint. For example, a study found that 87% of the US population could be uniquely identified based on just their 5-digit zip code, gender, and date of birth, zip / postal code, race, gender, internet protocol, IP, address, device IDs, e.g., your smartphone's unique IMEI number, sensitive personal data, financial, health, biometric, and geolocation. This is a special category of PII that, if exposed, could lead to significant harm, such as discrimination, financial fraud, or identity theft. Laws like the GDPR afford this data the highest level of protection. Financial data, bank account numbers, credit/debit card details, credit history, and income records. This is the primary target for cybercriminals. Health data, FI, protected health information, medical records, insurance information, prescription history, genetic data, and any information about a person's physical or mental health. This data is highly valuable on the black market. Biometric data, physical or behavioral characteristics that can uniquely identify you. This includes fingerprints, facial recognition patterns, voice prints, iris scans, and even your typing rhythm, keystroke dynamics. Geolocation data, the precise record of where you have been and when. This is constantly collected by your smartphone, navigation apps, and even social media platforms. It can reveal incredibly sensitive patterns: your home, workplace, places of worship, health clinics, and more. Behavioral data, your digital footprint and browsing habits. This is the data created by your actions and interactions online. It is often collected automatically and passively, painting a detailed picture of your preferences, habits, and psychology. Your digital footprint, this includes your search history, websites visited, clicks, links followed, videos watched, and time spent on a page. Social graph data, your network of friends, followers, groups, likes, shares, and comments on social media platforms. Purchase history, everything you've ever bought online, including items browsed, added to cart, or wish-listed. App usage, which applications you use, how often, and for how long. This behavioral data is the fuel for targeted advertising and algorithmic recommendation engines. It is used to influence your decisions, from what brand of toothpaste you buy to your political opinions. Anonymized vs pseudonymized data, the myth of true anonymity. A common misconception is that if data is anonymized, it is no longer personal and therefore no longer a privacy risk. This is rarely the case. Anonymized data, data that has been processed so that it can never be reversed engineered to identify an individual. This is extremely difficult to achieve in practice. True anonymization requires the removal of all direct and indirect identifiers to a point where the individual is lost in the crowd, e.g., a 40-year-old male in the UK describes millions of people. Pseudonymized data, this is far more common. Data is processed so that direct identifiers are replaced with a fake, reversible identifier, a pseudonym like user4a7x2, for example. Your name might be replaced with a random ID number. Crucially, the link between the pseudonym and your identity is still held separately. If a company has the key, they can re-identify you. Furthermore, even without the key, pseudonymized data can often be de-anonymized by cross-referencing it with other data sets, e.g., matching the behavioral patterns of user4a7x2 with a known public social media profile. Key takeaway: treat the term anonymous data with skepticism. In the modern data economy, true anonymity is a myth. Most data described as anonymous is merely pseudonymized and still carries a re-identification risk, making its protection vital. Chapter 2, the life cycle of a digital transaction. To protect your data effectively, you must understand its journey. A digital transaction is not a single event but a process, a life cycle where your personal information is collected, used, stored, and often shared. This chapter maps that journey from start to finish, revealing the hidden pathways your data travels every time you interact online. Initiation, search, click, and login. The life cycle begins the moment you decide to engage online. This initiation phase sets the stage for all subsequent data collection. The search, even before you reach a website, your actions generate data. Your search queries on Google or Bing reveal your intent, interests, and immediate needs. Search engines log these queries, linking them to your IP address and, if you're logged in, your account profile. The clicking a link sends a request from your browser to a server. This request contains technical data like your IP address, device type, e.g., iPhone, Windows PC, browser version, and the page you came from, referrer data. This is often enough to create a unique fingerprint. The login. Logging into any service is a definitive transaction where you explicitly exchange credentials, username/password, for access. This act firmly links all subsequent activity on the site to your specific identity, moving you from an anonymous visitor to a known user. Data collection points, forms, cookies, and trackers. Once you arrive at a destination, the active and passive collection of your data begins in earnest through multiple vectors. Forms, the most obvious point of collection. Any field you fill out, a shipping address, a payment form, a registration page, is data you are consciously providing. However, forms can also collect data automatically, such as pre-filling your email or name if you are logged into your browser. Cookies, small text files placed on your device by a website. They are not inherently bad and are essential for functionality. First-party cookies, created by the site you are visiting. They remember your login status, language preference, and items in your shopping cart, greatly improving your user experience. Third-party cookies, placed by a domain other than the one you are visiting. These are primarily used for tracking and advertising. They follow you across different websites to build a profile of your interests and behavior. Note, these are being phased out in major browsers like Safari and Chrome. Trackers, pixels, scripts, and fingerprinting. Invisible code embedded on websites. Tracking pixels, tiny, invisible images that log when you open an email or visit a page. They are used for analytics and advertising. Web beacons and scripts, code that tracks your browsing behavior, like how far you scroll, what you hover over, and what you click. Browser fingerprinting, a sophisticated technique that collects information about your device's configuration, screen resolution, installed fonts, plugins, OS, to create a unique, persistent identifier that is very difficult to evade. Processing and storage, where your data lives, servers, clouds, and third parties. Once collected, your data does not simply sit on the website you visited. It enters a complex ecosystem of processing and storage. Processing, this is the use of your data. It can be as simple as validating your credit card number or as complex as running your purchase history through a machine learning algorithm to predict what you'll buy next. Processing is the reason data is collected. Storage, servers and clouds, your data is stored on physical computer servers. While a company might own its own servers, it is now far more common to use cloud storage providers like Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. This means your data may be physically located on a server in a different country, subject to that region's laws. Third-party sharing, this is a critical and often overlooked step. Your data is frequently shared with a chain of other companies for various reasons. Payment processors, e.g., Stripe, PayPal, handle your financial data. Analytics companies, e.g., Google Analytics, help the website owner understand user behavior. Advertising networks, e.g., Google Ads, Meta Ads, use your data to serve targeted ads. Shipping carriers, e.g., UPS, FedEx, receive your name and address to deliver packages. Data brokers, websites may sell or share your data with firms that aggregate it into detailed profiles for marketing or risk assessment. Transaction completion and post-transaction data retention, the end of your interaction is just the beginning of your data's longevity. Completion, the immediate goal is met, the product is purchased, the service is accessed, the message is sent. However, the data exhaust from this transaction remains. Data retention, This is the policy that determines how long a company holds onto your data. There is no universal standard. Some companies delete data quickly, others retain it indefinitely. Key questions to consider: does the company have a published data retention policy? Is the data retained in an identifiable form, or is it aggregated/anonymized, or more likely, pseudonymized, after a certain period? Why is the data being retained? E.g., for legal compliance, for ongoing service, for security purposes, or for future marketing. The legacy of data: long after the transaction is forgotten, the data it generated can live on. It can be used for customer profiling, sold to another entity, breached in a cyber attack, or subpoenaed by legal authorities. Understanding that a digital transaction has a permanent paper trail is crucial for digital literacy. Key takeaway: a digital transaction is not a momentary exchange but the creation of a digital chain. Your data moves from your device through a network of visible and invisible players, is processed and stored in unknown locations, and persists long after your immediate need is met. Protecting your privacy requires awareness at every single stage of this life cycle. Chapter 3: The Adversaries: Who Wants Your Data and Why? Protecting your data requires knowing who you are protecting it from. The threats to your digital privacy are not monolithic, they come from different actors with vastly different motives and methods. Understanding these adversaries, from the overtly criminal to the seemingly legitimate, is essential for calibrating your defenses and understanding the value of the asset you are protecting. Cybercriminals, phishing, identity theft, and financial fraud. This group is the most visible and malicious adversary. Their motives are almost exclusively financial gain. Through illicit means they seek to acquire data to monetize it directly or use it as a tool for further exploitation. Methods: phishing and social engineering, deceptive emails, texts, or calls designed to trick you into voluntarily surrendering login credentials, financial information, or personal details. They prey on urgency, fear, or curiosity. Malware, malicious software, like viruses, ransomware, or keyloggers, installed on your device without your knowledge. It can steal data directly, log your keystrokes, or hijack your system. Data breaches: hacking into corporate databases to exfiltrate vast troves of user data, which is then sold on the dark web. Goals: identity theft: using your personal information, SSN, name, DOB, to open new credit lines, file fraudulent tax returns, or obtain services in your name. Financial fraud: draining bank accounts, making unauthorized purchases with stolen credit card numbers, or diverting payments. Extortion: using ransomware to lock your files or threatening to release sensitive data unless a payment is made. Data brokers: the silent industry of profiling and sale, often called the shadow industry. Data brokers are companies that operate in the background, collecting, aggregating, and selling your information, typically without your direct knowledge or explicit consent. Their motive is profit through the sale of intelligence. Methods: data aggregation: they purchase data from a wide array of sources, online and offline purchases, public records, property deeds, court documents, voter registrations, website tracking, loyalty card programs, and from other brokers. Profiling: they combine these disparate data points to build intricate profiles on millions of individuals. These profiles can include inferred information, such as your income bracket, political affiliations, health interests, and purchasing habits. Goals: marketing: selling lists of new mothers, affluent retirees, or people interested in debt consolidation to businesses for targeted advertising. Risk mitigation: providing reports to banks or employers for identity verification or risk assessment. People search sites: operating websites that allow anyone to look up individuals for a fee, often revealing addresses, phone numbers, and family members. Legitimate businesses: marketing, analytics, and service improvement. This is the most complex category because the data collection is often part of it consensual, if imbalanced, transaction. The business you are directly interacting with has a primary motive of improving its services and profitability, but their methods can still feel invasive. Methods: first-party data collection: the data you provide directly to them, create an account, make a purchase, and the behavioral data they collect from your activity on their app or website. Third-party integrations: embedding tools from other companies, like Facebook's like button or Google Analytics, on their site, which allows those third parties to also collect data on your visit goals, personalization, remembering your preferences to improve your user experience, e.g., welcome back, name, analytics, understanding how users interact with their service to fix bugs, improve website flow, and develop new features, marketing and advertising, building a profile of you to show you more relevant ads, on their site and across the web, and to encourage repeat business. This is where the line between service improvement and data brokering can blur, as data is often shared with advertising partners, insiders, and accidental exposure, the human factor. Not all data exposure is due to a shadowy external hacker. Often, the vulnerability comes from within an organization or from simple human error. The motive here is rarely malicious, but the damage